A school board trustee who has not paid back his share of a pricey trip to Italy could be fired. Ontario's education minister has introduced legislation to vacate Mark Watson's seat at the Brant-Haldimand-Norfolk Catholic District School Board. Let's go right over to CTV's Krista Simpson now for the latest on this story. Krista, this is something that the education minister said he had planned to do back in the spring.
He did, Tony, and now the piece of legislation has been formally brought forward. This has to do with a trip four trustees from that school board took to Italy more than a year ago now to buy religious art for new schools. They were all ordered to fully pay back thousands of dollars in travel costs. 3 did, but 1 has not, and now he may pay for that decision with his position.
The bill really is quite a simple one. It would, for all intents and purposes, fire the trustee who, along with a couple of other colleagues, went to Italy between July 8th, 2024 and July 15th, 2024, spent thousands of dollars, and so doing so, that was money that was taken out of the classroom, taken away from students. The trustee named is refusing to pay back the money that he spent on that, for all intents and purposes, what is a vacation.
The legislation, if passed, will remove Watson from office and bar him from running for a trustee position again in the next election, which is next year. The Minister of Education says that Watson's refusal to fully pay back his share of the trip, which is more than $12,000, is one of the reasons that the school board governance model is being reviewed by the Ford government, saying too often trustees are losing sight of their responsibility to students. Trustee Mark Watson has not responded to our request for comment. We did hear today from the chair of the board, Carol Luciani, saying in a brief statement, as with all provincial legislation, the board will continue to fully cooperate with all the requirements set out by the Ministry of Education and applicable directives. I spoke with a professor from McMaster who says this move to introduce legislation to fire a trustee is extraordinary.
Usually when there are issues related to the school board, because it is democratic governance on a local level, it's usually handled with sanctions within the school board. To my knowledge, I don't know of other legislation in which there was the firing of a trustee. There has been the removal of a director of education, for example, that happened in Peel, and other people who have worked on the school board level or within Ministry of Education portfolios. But this kind of firing of a trustee seems quite extraordinary.
Christina Llewellyn also notes that as part of the Ford government's efforts to overhaul the system and give the Ministry of Education far more power over school boards, there's even been talk of doing away with trustees altogether. Llewellyn describes the introduction of this legislation as a warning shot. We will, of course, continue to follow this bill as it makes its way through the legislature. Tony.
Okay, Krista Simpson on this developing news out of Queen's Park. Krista, thank you for that.